match number 4 of the 5-match series against the West Indies. The astute amongst you will have noticed that we are not at Derby.
We're not? Oh.
Why aren't we at Derby, Syd?
Well,
Now
the
that you've realised.
reasons are many and complicated. And we could tell you, but then we'd have to kill you. And there are an awful lot of you out there, so, it would take a long time to get round you all. So it's just going to have to remain a mystery.
It's warm here.
It is warm.
So that's a bonus. Other than us not being in the bubble any longer, having been at the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy final yesterday, we've seen what else might be different today. So we've seen that in the first 3 games, it's been a broadly similar story, hasn't it? England have won all 3. Admittedly, the third one was slightly less of a convincing margin, but still 20 runs in T20 cricket is quite a lot in the scheme of things. They've also played exactly the same 11 for all 3 matches. So will we see any changes today, do you think, Syd?
I hope we will. I think it's a great opportunity for England to make some changes and to give some of the younger players an opportunity. As I said in the piece I wrote after the 3rd match, what I would do is rest Catherine Brunt and Nat Siva and bring in Sophia Dunkley and Freya Davis and give them a chance to actually play full roles in the team. I think it's important that we don't, bring them in as token players. You could bring in Sophia Dunkley for Maddie Villiers, for example, and then bat Sophia Dunkley at 9 and have her, bowl maybe 1 over. But I don't think that particularly helps anyone either. And if Freya Davis is going to play, I feel she has to open the bowling. Nobody's suggesting that, right now Sophia Dunkley is a better player than Nat Siva. Nobody's thinking that. Nat Siva's clearly the better player. But the situation that we're in, I think that it would give others an opportunity to do that. And if we don't do that, it means that players like Sophia Dunkley have had literally 2 games of cricket in an entire calendar year they're going to end up having played. And, so I think that, we're in a position to address that. Let's address it if we can.
You've, of course, also got Katie George and Kate Cross in the squad, who both haven't played a game. Lauren Winfield-Hill hadn't, but she's now out of the reckoning, having gone to play for Northern Diamonds in yesterday's final. But so you've still got 4 players remaining in the bubble who haven't played a game. If it was up to me, don't know if you're going to ask me, Syd, but if it was up to me, then I'd wang them all in there. Because I just don't think it's fair to ask players to bubble themselves up and to be in this situation where you are 3-0 up in a series, the last 2 matches are dead rubbers, the next World Cup is over a year away, and you just aren't going to play those players. I mean, why not? What have you got to lose? Nothing, really. It just seems nonsensical to not do so.
Yeah, I think that I broadly agree, but there are some reasons, aren't there? And we were talking about on Twitter the other day about Elise Villani on comms on the Australia and New Zealand game. I've been talking about this, and her and Mel Jones were very much of the opinion that a baggy green is there to be earned. You don't just get it for free.
Did they say it in an actual Australian accent rather than a really terrible impression of an Australian accent, though?
No, I think they did a terrible impression of an Australian accent while they were saying it.
So we ran a Twitter poll.
We did.
Following on from that, and
it was definitive.
It was. So it was, do you play the best 11 on Monday or rest players to give the next generation some experience? So best or rest?
What was the result, Raf?
Well, best got 29% and rest got 71%. So broadly, people were in agreement with us. And there were a couple of people who went into details about why they were saying that. Chris Tyndall said, could be a bit disrespectful to a team that have travelled in a global pandemic and done all the bubbling up to then treat it like a practice match and not necessarily play your best team.
I think that's a reasonable point, but I'm not sure that playing, Dunkley and Davis, would be treating it as a practice match. It's not like they're throwing me in there. So, I think that those players are worthy of an England place.
Okay, fair enough. Laura Malkin says, is international cricket not give everyone a go? You should always play your best side available and play to win. And I guess my response to that would be, I don't actually agree with that. I don't think you should always play your best available side, because otherwise what happens is you play your best players forever and ever and ever, and you never give anyone else a chance to come through. And look at what happened when Charlotte Edwards, who was indisputably still England's best batter at the point at which she retired, and then Tammy Beaumont suddenly came out of her shell and really flourished. And for whatever reason, she wasn't able to do that. So I think that if you never give your younger players an opportunity, then they never get to build that match experience. And what better time, as I've said, than this game when there's really not very much riding on it.
Yeah, if those players don't ever get to play, they will never be better than the existing players. They will never have had the chance. You can go, well, how many runs has Sophia Dunkley scored in internationals in the last year? How many wickets has Freya Davis taken in internationals, this summer? And obviously the answer is none in both cases because they haven't played any games. So, you can create a circular argument there, I guess. But
there was another interesting comment from Fleur Loveridge, who said that this is probably less of an issue for the Australians because it's partly a bridging problem. If there was more women's or better domestic setups and better women's domestic cricket, then the people kind of next in line for England would find that move up or that step up to international cricket less of a huge divide. And therefore, with the strong Australian domestic system, it's maybe less of an issue. But as it is, those players like Sophia Dunkley and Freya Davies could do with the game.
I think there's definitely something in that. What do you think, Raf?
I think it's an interesting point. I'm not massively convinced because I don't think that anything is ever like international cricket. I don't think that there is anything that compares to it. And I think that however much exposure you've had to really high quality domestic cricket, it will never be the same. And you'll always be nervous. There'll always be that tension and that thing playing an international cricket. I mean, I don't know. I've never done it. But I just would imagine that it's never the same. It's just not. So therefore, it doesn't matter what domestic cricket you've played beforehand. That's what I think anyway, but it's definitely be interesting to see what England do, and
Okay, well, we're looking forward to the game. It starts in around about an hour, so we'll be sitting on the sofa, we'll be tweeting, Raf will be writing stuff, I'll be writing stuff.
Prediction?
Well, what's your prediction, Raf?
I think we'll probably see the same old. I think that we'll probably see another England win, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay, well, we'll see.